Welcome. My name is Karen Luniw of the lawofattractioncenter.com, and that's my picture up there in the corner of a video I've just done recently, and that's why there's a little play button in the middle of my face. And I am the creator of the Law of Attraction Tips podcast and the very powerful QC squared method. Now, today, if you're liking this podcast or the other ones that you've listened to, I have over 60 and they're all free over at the Law of Attraction Center. At the center, our focus is on mindset and shifting our mindset so we can attract more abundance, so we can attract infinite possibilities. So how fun is that? So again, there's so many resources over there. Just go on and sign up for them with the fabulous and free membership. It's free and you'll get access right away, all for your listening pleasure. So today, what we're going to talk about, the topic of today's podcast is, why does the opposite show up? You know, I hear from so many people, they set their goals, they get excited, they visualize, and they do all the right stuff. And then what happens? Bam! The opposite of the very thing they've been focusing on shows up. Sound familiar? And usually it shows up in a somewhat painful way. And I don't mean painful necessarily physically, but painful. It could be hard on our pocketbook, hard on our self-esteem, hard on our ego. Any kind of range of things happens, but this tends to happen, right? And again, we've all been there. And so we start to ask ourselves, why does this happen? And why me, right? And so here's a couple of examples I'm going to go through. I'm going to take you through two different examples. So the first one is, and this is a really common one for a lot of people, is that your goal is to earn more money, right? So that's one example, and I'm going to walk you through that and what happens with that. And the second example is, you might be feeling really confident. So you've had a great day or a great week, and you're feeling on top of the world, right? So you're going along and then bam! Again, if you're the person who wants to create more money in your life, all of a sudden, and you're visualizing, you've set your goal, you're feeling really good about it, and all of a sudden your car needs fixing, or a big tax bill comes in, or your kid needs braces, something like that. Again, the list could go on and on. Something breaks down. This happens often, more often than you even know, right? So why does that happen? So I'll talk about that in a moment, but I'm just giving you some examples of what tends to happen. It's the opposite. I'm asking for more money and now I have to put more money out. Or for the person who's been feeling really confident on top of the world, all of a sudden they lose a contract or a job. Or for no good reason, somebody just tells them off, right? So again, we ask the question, why me? Why is this happening to me? So most people consider these bad things. And if you saw me, I have air quotes. You can see on the screen here, it says, it's bad in quotation marks. But we consider these to be bad things. But what if it isn't? What if these things aren't actually bad things? I know they feel like it. But what if it's the universe that is showing you your block? So these bad things showing up is actually just the universe showing you your block. What if it's the universe showing you the error in your thinking? And I kind of don't necessarily like that term, the error in your thinking, but it's just a faulty belief. It's faulty thinking. It's just something we've picked up along the way, a subconscious belief that actually isn't working for you. And so here's the hint. It is. It is the universe or God or source or your higher self, whatever that higher power is for you. It's just showing you that, in fact, there is some faulty thinking there, and you just need to shift it, right? So again, here's how it works. Your goal is to earn more money, but you might have the belief that you have to work really hard for your money. You just feel like this is what you know. This is what we hear all the time. You have to work really hard for your money. And let me ask you this: do you really want to work harder than you already do? Well, probably not. And so the block is, and here's the drum roll, you believe you have to work really hard for more money. Or you might have the block that I don't feel like I'm smart enough. So I don't feel like I'm smart enough to earn more money. Or I'm going to have to go back to school to get a degree to get more money, or to get some kind of certification to get more money. There's all kinds of beliefs that start to show up when we set out the goal that we want to make more money, there's something in there. Again, and I can guarantee you that if the opposite is showing up, that there's a block there. Okay, there's something you're not aware of. And often it's something so normal to you. It's just so matter of fact to you that it's hard for you to pick out. But you can do that. You can start to shift it. What if you could shift that belief? And you can. How would you start to shift that belief? Well, what if you eliminated that belief and implanted something else? Like, it's easy to make money. Well, it can be done. And, this is what I teach people is how to do that. And, in a little podcast, I can't go through the whole process. But again, when you go back to my site, there's all kinds of information there on how to start that process. Well, what about the person with confidence? Again, they're feeling on top of the world. They're feeling really good about themselves. And again, they just, something happens. Again, somebody yells at them or they lost a job or a contract. And so what happens is that they were feeling really good until something happened that they took personally. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, exactly that thing. And the block is that it's personal. They believe it's personal. But what if it isn't? What if the contract or the job isn't a match for you anymore? You ever think about that? We tend to think that, I'm at fault or something's happened or it's something kind of out there, right? But again, what if that job or contract just isn't the right one for you anymore? What if it's holding you back from doing something bigger and brighter, which is, again, if your feeling is, I feel really good and really confident about who I am and what I'm doing, maybe you actually are bound for bigger things. In fact, I would pretty much guarantee you are. So again, when you set that goal or you set that feeling and that intention is like, wow, I feel really good about myself, and bam, the opposite happens, it probably means that you are destined for something even bigger. So, and then the other scenario was, well, what if someone yelled at you because they actually were mad at someone else? Think that ever happens? Have you ever done it? Again, we're human. It happens all the time. So quite honestly, if somebody's yelling at you, it's likely often not that they're really yelling at you. They're mad at somebody else. So if we didn't take it personally, and what if we could shift that belief? What would happen? But how would you start to shift this belief? Well, what if you eliminated that belief and implanted something else? The belief that it was personal, that it was a personal attack on you, or there's something wrong with you, or something wrong with how you do things. What if you could actually shift that? Like, I am really good at what I do. What if the opposite is showing up just to show you that, in fact, this isn't a match anymore for you? This can be done. You can start to shift this. So here's how to start it. Start noticing the stories you're telling yourself. And when I mean stories, the beliefs. Any limiting belief, any negative belief that we have, there's at least one story or 10 or 100. And again, stories, beliefs, thoughts, conclusions, those are all kind of the same things. If we have any of those we have, again, at least one, if not 100, or 10, that are holding that limiting belief or negative belief in place. So what you want to start asking yourself is, well, what else is possible here? What else is possible? So what else is possible about earning money? What else is possible about the ease of money showing up? What else is possible in actually me believing that more is possible, that it's easy to make money, that I am capable, that I am worth more than what I'm charging right now? Or again, what else is possible here, that this contract's going away? It means that something else is bigger out there. What could that be? Well, so here's the thing. You just did part of the QC squared method. Now, you heard me briefly mention that before, but the QC squared method is something that is a method that I've created that I've just kind of condensed all the things that I've done and I do with my clients to help them to be really, really successful. And so the thing is that you just did part of it. by just asking, okay, well, what else is possible? Starting to identify your story. It's like, okay, maybe this isn't true. So here's the thing with the QC squared method is it's quick and you can do it anytime and anywhere, and it really can change your life. I've seen that happen over and over again. So this is what it stands for. QC squared method stands for quest formation, question. So those are two Q's, so Q squared, clear, and celebrate. So there's two C's there, clear and celebrate, which is also squared. So quest formation, question, clear, and celebrate. So a quest formation is an affirmation in the form of a question, and there's some very specific reasons about why they do that. It actually just sets your mind up to start looking for the ways to make your affirmation come true. Asking questions also, which is what we just did, which is by asking what else is possible here. When we start to ask those questions, we start to open up all kinds of possibilities. In fact, infinite possibilities if you get out of your way. And then clear, there's a process that I have developed that is, it's just a mental process that's kind of like Etch-a-Sketch. If you remember the Etch-a-Sketch in the old days, and you would draw on it with the little knobs, and then you didn't like your creation anymore, so then you just took it and shook it. Well, it's kind of like what the clearing process is. It's just like taking your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, your negative beliefs, and just kind of shaking them so they just disappear. So that's kind of what happens. And then the last one is celebrating, is actually just celebrating, and I say going into the wow zone. When you can go into the wow zone where you can just look around and go, wow, I am so lucky. Wow, look at everything that I have in my life. And just celebrating and appreciating and having gratitude just lifts you up to a whole different vibration, so you can start attracting more. And again, just being more open to possibilities. So that's what the method stands for. And quite honestly, it is the most powerful attraction tool that I know of, without a doubt. So you can learn more about the QC squared method. I'm actually just starting a program. Just put it out, the Attraction Mindset 2.0 Abundance Program. And just for you, if you're interested, and this isn't for everybody, but because you can go to my site and learn more about the QC squared method. There's all kinds, again, free resources on my site, thelawofattractioncenter.com. But for those of you who really want to kind of take things to the next level, I'm giving you a coupon code, and it's podcast. And what this is going to do is going to give you $50 off this already, right now, really, really, really low price program. Seriously, it's just, people are telling me I'm crazy. And anyways, and that's not going to last forever. So in fact, only just until January 1st, 2015. So, and if you sign up before December 15th, you get an extra session with me. So please take advantage of this. So if you're interested, you want to attract more abundance in your life, this program's for you. So remember, let's just do a little recap here. The opposite shows up, but not as a bad thing. If we label it as a bad thing, then it becomes a bad thing. But what if it isn't? What if it's showing up because it's an error in our thinking? Okay. And you can change that by starting to change your story and or your belief, that limiting belief. And how you start to do this is by asking yourself, well, what else is possible here? And then when you ask that question, what else is possible here? Don't try and figure it out. What I want you to do instead is just to start paying attention to what shows up and then take action on whatever shows up. So again, you can learn more about the QC squared method over at thelawofattractioncenter.com. You can learn about all kinds of ways to attract more into your life really easily, or more easily than it's been happening for you. I know sometimes it's hard, right? But again, I've worked with so many people all over the world that I know these processes work. So again, go over to thelawofattractioncenter.com and sign up for your free resources. That's a really great place to start if the Attraction Mindset 2.0 Abundance Program isn't, for you at this moment. Maybe by going through those free resources, you'll get to that point at some point. So in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today. Go out there and shift, align, and shine. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.